Welcome everyone back to a Permadirt review. Oh wait, Permanent and Friends review. I get the title right here. Otherwise, I'm gonna be kicked off my own podcast. Welcome again to Poka_TTV and Ostrichwrangler on my right. Welcome to episode 4. We are now officially over halfway done through the series. Hopefully, everyone's enjoying this along with the rest of us. We are just some nerds talking about some stuff, and maybe you have a little fun listening or not. I don't know. Maybe you just like the sound of Poka's voice. Poka, give him a taste. Wow. Wow.
My game's done. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, guys. Episode 4.
That was really good.
Nothing really new to say, I think, as far as housekeeping. Is there anything we messed up there, Ostrich? You got all the interesting things there?
Last time? I don't think so. I think we're okay.
Oh,
we are
okay.
100% right all the time.
I have not gotten
well, and that's I can get down with that. All right. This is episode 4 of season 2, directed. It's called Day 1, directed by Kate Herron, who, again, anyone know what she's done? Anybody want to guess? Don't look it up. Damn it, he's looking it up. Directed season 1 of Loki.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
The entirety of season 1 of Loki, which is like I actually watched that and it was good.
Did 4 episodes of Sex Education.
Mm-hmm. I've never watched that. Is it any good?
I watched like the first 2 seasons. It's not bad.
Miss Wrangler watches it.
Yeah, I've heard people are like, but I only did a few episodes of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, runtime of 53 minutes. Again, written by Craig Mazin. I think this might be the last one where he's exclusively writing it and doesn't have help. So I think we might get a little bit of a change maybe going forward, but we'll see. Okay, it opens up on 2018 Seattle quarantine zone. Fedra boys are there's a bunch of Fedra guys going around. So again, we got back in time. So I can't remember. Okay, this actor, I'm not big on the Disney front. I'm not big on the Disney front,
yeah,
but
yeah.
This guy's a Disney kid, right?
That's
originally he got his chops from. Isn't there like 2 of them? Is there like a twin situation?
Oh yeah, Josh Peck, that guy.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He's in there and he's just going off. He's your classic, Fedra dude drinking the juice.
He is Josh
drinking the
Drake and Josh.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He is Fedra boys are just telling stories, kind of just pumping their chest about like, oh yeah, and so we hear the term voter here. I have in question marks. I'm like, voter? What's a voter? He's calling people. He's referring to people as a voter. And he says they were handing out pamphlets. And then they made a joke about disseminate and how the guy these people who are handing out these pamphlets, their boss didn't understand what disseminate meant. He thought that they were doing stuff and I guess inseminating on stuff. And so he ended up smashing their teeth everywhere, which again they're all laughing about, but like all the regular people are like, hey, you just smashed everyone's teeth in and because you're stupid and didn't understand English. So again, just shows how pompous they are and they're laughing about this, right? Not really a laughable situation. But then he explains citizens are voters because basically this is where Isaac kind of chimes in. He says, why are they voters? And then Isaac says, like, because we took away their rights. And he says it's basically like he just calls the rest of them like idiots and you're jerks. And Isaac, you can tell, has no affinity for these boys. He does not like them. Because of just, they've taken away rights. They're not there for the people. They're really just, they're overthrowing everything and running it the way they want. So in this armored vehicle, it comes up to a bus that's in a street. There's all these people start coming out. Of course, everyone in there starts getting tense. And he basically just says, like, everyone chill out, stay in here. I'm going to go out there. We don't need to try and have like another like bloodbath. Like we're outnumbered. Let's just talk to them. So Isaac goes out. He pulls the newbie. He says, come out with me if you want to learn something. And so the new guy comes out and they're talking and they get together. They go really close, this woman and him. And he says, are you Hanrahan, I think? Hanrahan or something like that? Yeah. And they meet each other. They shake hands and they kind of just look at each other. And then Isaac comes back and he drops 2 grenades into the back of the armored vehicle, closes the door, thing blows up and kills everyone. And there's one guy left and he puts him out of his misery that came out of the driver's door, basically meaning like he's done. right? Like he's done working for Fedra. He's gonna join the Resistance, um, the WLF, right? That's kind of his origin story of how he gets there. Um, so it's really cool. Like it just shows this kind of turning point. That was in 2018, and it says 11 years later.
Whoa.
So 2029 is currently, I guess, where we're at. I didn't know that actually about the show. I didn't realize that's where we were, because the show is different also than the game, because the game starts in 2013,
Right.
like when the game actually happens. But the show, 2003 is when everything starts. But I was sitting there and I was kind of like confused by that. Like, I didn't think we were that late, because it says 11 years later, but it started off with 2018. So I'm like, oh damn, we're 2029. Like, I don't know. I was just it's kind of interesting. I don't know. Like that's how the numbers worked out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's the math I
Yeah.
figured out.
Okay, because you were looking a little confused still, so I wasn't sure. If I messed
I
something up.
was zooming ahead a little bit.
Okay, so 11 years later, Dina and Ellie, wow, I wrote something here that, oh, that's right. They're looking, it shows them they're scavenging for stuff. They're looking for things of use. Of course, everything's picked through. They're making jokes. Dina's asking if she has a yeast infection and stuff like that, which is pretty hilarious. They find milk. They weren't really into the milk also, which imagine how nasty that milk would be. And again, then then Dina finds something. They don't show what it is, but she finds it, and we're like, oh, okay, wonder what that could be. Again, and this they're also at a pharmacy, Weston's pharmacy, which is
Yeah.
all over the game. It's a popular spot in the game. I noticed that right away. I'm like, oh, I recognize that.
I think it's funny that she mentioned, she's like, nope, no pain meds, when neither of them are in pain, but it's like pain meds are one of the items in the game.
Yeah,
It is a fun little callback.
there's a fun little thing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like that. And then again, same thing. So we go outside and we have a wide shot, and it says Seattle Day 1, which again, I completely forgot that that's how this game works, where it breaks up into days.
I know. This is the
I
first time
completely
they've done it,
forgot.
though,
And I was like,
right?
oh, that's right. Day 1.
Day one.
Wait, what?
It's the only time they've done that, isn't it?
But it's the only time the game has done it also, though.
Oh. Well then.
Yeah. So it says Seattle Day 1, which is pretty sweet. They hop on a horse and they head out. They're kind of just exploring Seattle at this point. This is where they're talking about rainbows. And of course, again, reminding us here that they didn't grow up in a civilized world. A lot of these people were born after the pandemic, so they don't know what all the stuff means. So they're making comments. There's a bunch of rainbows and hearts with colored rainbows and stuff on the bricks. And they're like, maybe they're all optimists,
Yeah.
and they're kind of just like making jokes. Maybe they're just really happy and optimists. Again,
Also,
not
making a
understanding.
joke, yeah, like she's just like, maybe they're like actually being serious about it, because for
Yeah.
them it's just no concept of
Well, they have no
saying
idea,
something.
right?
Yeah.
Which is again, is it's funny because, oh, it's not funny, but you also look at like Ellie, of course, being gay,
Pretty random.
has no idea about the movement, right? Like it just shows a lack of like education at this point too, because it there's no history on it, right? No one's writing books about history of Seattle, and like Seattle's is a progressive place, and it's very like this is where all these sort of pride stuff happens there, and they have no idea, right? So it's just funny like how the world has changed in this world. I think, in my opinion, it's just kind of interesting.
The gay movement is not a top priority when there's zombies running around.
Yeah.
Exactly. No one's talking history. Like no one's talking any history, let alone that. But no one's talking any other history. Like it's not like, I'm sure World War II is not a thing in their mind. I'm sure, right? Like just isn't a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're optimists. Then they go find a tank. They want to check it out. There's Fedra bodies all over, but they do make the comment there about like how there's no other bodies. It looks like they were fighting themselves, which again shows even more sort of how they were being turned on each other, which is going to be important later because there'll be a scene we need to talk about some of this stuff, but how they were turning on each other. And this is kind of how Fedra was undone out there. They're fighting each other. Oh yeah, and then there's more information about space there. They make a comment about how their bodies were burnt inside the tank. Again, this is every episode. Ellie has been telling us and showing us about she loves space. Again, I think we will get an episode about this coming up. I don't know if it'll be this season or next, but I think there's going to be a full episode on that whole flashbacks thing that we're going to get here. And it's going to be another bone cruncher, so look out for that one. What else? Dina points out the obvious. Oh yeah, that's right. This is where they finally see, they get on the binoculars, they see a giant tower that says WLF on a giant satellite dish up there. And Dina points out the obvious because obviously Ellie's like, that's where we're gonna go. And she's like, there's a giant WF tower where everyone can see it. Then maybe they want you to go there.
Mm.
Like kind of being, again, common sense. She plays the common sense role so good
Oh yeah.
every single time.
Oh, 'cause there's a severe lack of it with.
Wow,
Yeah,
someone's not
because
thinking very clearly.
Ellie is the bull in the china shop, just like pointing her horns forward, just crashing through anything. And Dina's kind of like, "Hey, maybe we should use our brains."
I do like when she opens that tank and it makes the big smashy sound and they're kind of
Oh
waiting
yeah,
for
the
zombies.
smashy sound.
And
Sorry,
it
Oh,
yeah,
just
yeah.
shows, like, obviously it's just showing that they might actually be safe from zombies in this area.
yeah. It shows there's no one around, no one, like no gunfire, and there's no zombies. Yeah,
And then obviously
that's a, that's a,
it plays for the next scene when they go to the music place and Dina's banging on the drums. There's no way
I
yeah.
to be doing
felt
that.
so wrong to me.
Oh, it felt so wrong. I know. I think it
Right.
happens in the game too, but I remember
Yeah,
it
I think
just
it does.
being like,
There's like some bongos or something.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. So then she says we should wait for night and then go to the I can't remember what that place is actually called though in the game. It's like a chat
It's like a
what new
station system. Yeah.
station. I think like a news station. Um so yeah, they say they're gonna wait. They stop by a music store and they start at this point, Dina starts playing drums. Again, the whole loud lid dropping is kind of saying like, hey, don't worry, there's nothing in the area. Because yeah, again, she's playing drums, which who knows, maybe she's never even seen before. It looked like she was trying to figure it out as it was going. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
Ellie goes, yeah, it wasn't good. There was no beat there. We look through a bunch of again records and things, and we see a bunch of famous records and things that have been shown there, which is kind of cool. And go up the stairs, and there's a bunch of guitars out there. And Ellie finds basically a brand new one that's been preserved inside of a case, and she takes it out and starts playing. And of course, if you played the game before, this is a really epic scene, really sort of like, um, again, moving on to what's going to happen in the future. This is a very important scene, just to kind of say of everything she has. Right, she has this great, guitar. She knows how to play. She has Dina there, who we know is like a good friend at this point. She has sort of everything other than really just Joel, right?
Mm.
And it's this really magical moment. And she, of course, she sings "Take on Me" by Aha, and it's she does a great job.
Yeah, she did good.
Kudos to her. She did a very good job. I didn't look into it, but I'm assuming she actually learned how to play the guitar and
It
knows
did
how to play
not
the
look
guitar.
like she was at least she had the chords on her hand, right? But her strumming hand was doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
nothing
sometimes
was
too,
being
like they post record some of that stuff too,
Oh,
right? Like it
absolutely.
might, and I'm
Absolutely.
not saying she did. I just always think like I feel like these method sort of
Like, if you
actors,
can
not
do an F
method.
chord, you're good enough to play.
Yeah, you're good enough to play. You can do it.
I can't
I
borrow
was
those.
I was so
Stupid.
distracted by it, just staring at him. Like that's her hand
We'll
is
have
not doing anything. Like it's not even close to doing anything.
I'll have to like look behind the scenes and just see if it was actually like, or if or she just is fake. And again, yeah, who
I
knows?
think she was playing
Oh,
it though, because in the behind the scenes, Dina talks about how like easy it was to act in that moment. Like she was
yeah,
like, "This was a very easy day for me, like just with everything going on." So I
yeah.
think she does actually do it.
Oh, okay. All right, so we have this like super magical moment again. Same thing, staple in the game.
You
Huge
can miss
point.
it
Like,
in
and
the
it's
game.
you missed it.
You can. It's possible to
You
just
yeah, it
run
is
for it. Yeah.
possible to miss it, but you'd have to be a terrible gamer to miss that big of a
Yeah.
section. Like, there's so much
I wondered if I
interactable
missed
stuff
it.
in there.
Yeah. And you just
You-
would run towards a guitar case if you saw it in that game.
yeah. Well, and it's lit so perfectly, exactly like I was in the show, like
I
where this
know the
big
backdrop and
beam of
everything
light
is
is
so
hitting
nice.
this thing. Like, it's such a moment. Um. All right. Then after that, we take this magical moment and we snap over to Isaac, who's talking to someone we don't see. And he would explain how he used to cook for girls because he was very shy. It was his way of sort of like wooing girls and stuff back in the day.
Mm.
But he says, good chef needs good tools. He talks about wanting to own this Mauviel pot. It's a French thing. It's brass. It's not cast iron. He talks about the differences between brass and cast iron. Of course, like every psychotic person, he fixates on these things. And we realize that he's interrogating a Seraphite, a Scar, as they call him. And we saw this guy in the previews from the next time. This is also a scene in the game as well. where you see this dude, and yeah, I'm surprised they actually took it as far as they did. If
Oh,
I'm being honest
never.
with you,
Yeah.
like they took this thing like this torture scene pretty far. I thought
There was
Yeah.
full week going on.
there
Well,
was,
and it is in the game too, but it's more hidden by
yeah,
shadows. I'm just kind of
the
watching it side
shadows
by
and
side
stuff.
right now. Yeah, this guy
But I am
was
just surprised.
dong out getting burned.
Well, and they had like shown the whole burn, and they did
Hmm.
the whole like, and he's messed up,
And sorry,
and all this stuff.
before we fully move on to this scene, I'm giving Xena more credit because I think she's my crush at the moment in this show. She's like the one good thing. She
Yeah,
does such a good job of acting in that previous scene where she's
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah.
crying and stuff and just wiping away the tears. It's like, man, those are real.
You like I will say she seems very like you said it seems effortless, but as a viewer, it seems all things for her seem effortless in this. Like
I know.
it doesn't seem like she has to play anything up.
No. Yeah. In touch with their emotions. Anyways, let's talk about the burning pan guy.
No, very good job. Yeah, so the bad guy here is getting cooked. Basically he's heating up the pan and burning his hands. So he says, "Put your hand out." And he does eventually put his hand out. And well, sorry, let me back up. He's interrogating him. The purpose of this whole thing is he's interrogating to see where they are going to attack next. Which is again super important because they kind of go back and forth here. Like, well, you're teaching children to kill us, and we're well, yeah, because you slaughtered our children, and they're going back and forth, and you can see how this sort of war will never end. Like it's just like modern day wars. Like we're it's just like, oh well, you killed me, so I'm gonna kill you, and yeah, well your kids killed our kids,
Yeah.
and and we slaughtered them because you slaughtered them, and it's just back and forth. And he basically just kind of crashes out, saying like, I don't want to. I'm not gonna talk about this. Like because they're all doing terrible stuff to each other.
Yeah,
Which
there's
again,
it's hard to argue on either side because they're both
yeah,
going
but
to
this
say they're right.
exactly. But this also, again, in a matter of short amount of time, you see because you saw the 2018 clip of how he's like, okay, Fedra's removing all these rights. They're terrible people. I don't want to work for him anymore, so I'm going to join the resistance.
Hmm.
And you look to where he is now, where he is arguably the new Fedra, and these people are basically the uprising. Like, there's
Yeah.
not as many of them, and he is trying to hunt and kill them all, and he's trying to like, he's interrogating them. Like, he's become everything he hates, essentially here.
Yeah.
Is how I felt about it. Um, they go back and forth, and and he does say he says that there's another thing too here, which plays into the history what I just said a few minutes ago, where the guy says like you're gonna lose, and the reason why is because every day another one turns and comes to our side. The Seraphite says every day there's another one showing up at our camps, and he says once they're in, they do not leave. Like there's no one coming back to your camp.
Yeah, I
They're
love
all
that.
coming
That
to
was
ours.
cool.
It's true.
That was cold.
It was cold, but it's like again, it goes back to the previous thing where it's like, you know, people are leaving. Like Fedra people were turning against each other. WLF people are like there's dissension in the camp.
Hmm.
It's not perfect. Isaac isn't running a perfect camp here. Um, he's basically running a cult, also. Um,
Double.
and yeah, so then we see. I think this is let's see what happens here. Back and
And he
forth.
turns
Oh,
around and he's just got his hands kind of sticking out, and he's like,
yeah.
"Just burn it." He's like, "I don't
He
care."
heats up the brass thing again, and that's where he puts his other hand out, and that's when Isaac realizes like he's not gonna break this dude again. Just like his last comment, you're not gonna break him. So he just takes his gun out, shoots him, and this is where we see on the other side of the door there were some people talking, and we see his recruit that he had from 2018 is still there, standing outside the door. Um,
Looking a little less doe-eyed.
yeah, that dude, yeah, he's way less dough. You can see this dude's seen things like because he is not like he basically said, "Good, kill him." Like he's
Mhm.
so you can just see the desensitization that's gone on here in these
For sure.
last 11 years. Anything you want to talk about that previous scene or previous two scenes before we skedaddle on?
I don't think I got anything from those ones.
Again, crazy. I was just surprised they took it as far as they did. I didn't think they would go quite that far, but they did. I'm not upset by it or anything, but it's just I'm like, oh, it's interesting.
You seem
It's
upset
good.
by it.
No, not upset by it at all. But I was just like, oh, okay. I'm like, I didn't sometimes, to not upset masses, I feel like, but again, that's why you also do things on HBO because
Well, yeah,
they
you can do whatever you want. And,
out of anything they can do whatever they want. Like they've
Yeah.
shown they'll do whatever they want. So
yeah.
that's the perk of it. Okay, we're back to Ellie and Dina. They're talking about how to get past this gate. That's their and they kind of were talking about what do we do if we find other WLF, and again they just don't say anything. It's like, what are we gonna do if we find other people, like not the ones we're looking for, and nothing is said. They just kind of, and then Dina says agreed. So I didn't know what to take in that situation. Like they're just saying like, no, we're just gonna kill everyone, or we're gonna just read the moment. I didn't really know what to think of that. Did you guys think
I
anything about
think
that?
it was they're just gonna kill anyone that they come across, and they don't
Uh,
care.
And I was also thinking about as I was watching, I was like, hey, if they get caught, like, yes, they're younger girls, so they like, but nobody's innocent in this world. Like, they got a
No.
gun.
Yeah.
The chances of someone actually just like stopping and being like, "Let us help you," it doesn't really seem to exist.
Yeah.
Or if it did,
Not
it's
not in
definitely not
Seattle
here.
right now.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah,
definitely not
definitely
in
not in
Seattle.
Seattle. Anything left in Seattle is belongs to something,
yeah.
right? Like, so they're on a side. Um okay. So then they see that there's some blood and they climbed up on top to get over to get over. They see there's a light and then there's a bunch of they got oh yeah, we see a light and then we see a dude with a bunch of arrows in him. Which again, we know the Seraphites that they've
Hmm.
this is they had bow and arrows, so we assume right away it's them. They go through that. They go through the building and they'll find a bunch of WLF bodies hanging everywhere in this main area. Again, this is more in tune with what you see in the game. This is kind of how you're introduced to the
Yeah.
Seraphites, that they are very part of what they believe. So part of this cult is that in order to cleanse the body, you kind of have to let the body bleed out. So they often will hang them and cut like their intestines out and let them hang, and that's kind of what we see here. Um, that's
I
part of
don't
their belief.
think there wasn't this many dangly intestines in the game. I'm just watching a side by side of it now.
Oh yeah, in the game it was like they
There's
had
one
so many
guy.
different ways.
There's one guy who's dangling intestines in this scene. It's also
Yeah,
fully lit, so there's no like in
yeah,
the show they got beacons kind of pointed at each
hmm
body, which they definitely could have done in the game because they're like tied to the same like light rigs and stuff like that.
yeah.
But yeah, this one feels a little bit more pointed. And there's also real people up there. They're not like prosthetics. They're
A prosthetics
real
easier just to put a
stunt
person up
people
there.
hanging
Might as
up
well,
there.
right?
Might as
Yeah.
well throw some makeup on, throw them up.
Yep.
Um, okay, so then we see this, and then right away we basically hear that the Scars did this because uh, Ellie sees the trail of blood going to the wall with the insignia on there that shows like the Seraphites were the ones who had killed these people. At this point, they see the walkie talkies, and right away they're like, "Oh, someone called for backup," and they can hear stuff happening. And so they hide. A bunch of WLF guys bust in.
Well, and this startled me.
Um,
I didn't realize it happened like in the moment.
no, and that's the thing too. I didn't think so either. I
I
didn't
figured these
hear
bodies could
anything.
be hanging around for a while or doing something,
Yeah,
but nope.
yeah,
They
it's the most
released
video game timey thing I've ever
Yeah.
seen. It's the
for
most like
sure.
Uncharted timing thing possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the WLF guys they bust in, and they are they're clearing the area. They walk in, they're like, "Holy crap! There's people everywhere! Cut them down!" And of course, they're also talking about like also happens in the game where they have conversations. That was a big part of like Last of Us Part Two was that they gave everybody names to make the bad guys feel unique, real, all sorts of things. So like Glenn, what's going on? Like they all had different names and they
Yeah.
were constantly talking very organically amongst one another. So this scene reminded me a lot of that, where they're like they're checking stuff and they're saying clear, but they're also saying like, I don't care what our orders are. They're friggin' hanging us up here. We're gonna clear this building. We're gonna take it back. And the other people are like, no, we should go. Like it's funny how they're just it's very organic. I
It
liked it.
feels
Yeah, it
very
was
video
great.
gamey.
It was
And you
Yeah,
can
it
just
feels
see it
video
as they're
gamey,
kind of
but
creeping around like uh, in the next scene, like where it shows her in a room and the guy walks by her, like it feels like a video game where it's like now you
oh
gotta
yeah,
stealthily sneak up behind and press square to attack. Like
yeah,
it feels like
yep.
it's from the game, which is cool.
Okay, so then they're checking everything. Ellie and Dina are obviously panicking. They're trying to get out of this sneakily. So they go up to, or Ellie goes up to the second floor. Dude kind of hears them and follows her up. And exactly like Ostrich said here, she's kind of hiding around a corner where there's this sort of window, and and you can kind of see the guy is there. and basically he ends up getting startled, comes in, she jumps on him, puts him into a sleeper hold, which
Which he
again,
learned.
which she learned. But also, I was saying, like, going back to the comment about, are we going to kill them? She immediately took a non-lethal stance. It was only once the second person heard them, came up the stairs, where she then took the knife out and stabbed him in the neck.
Right.
So I wondered, like, thinking back on that after I watched the show, I went like, oh, I wonder if their plan was to, like, not do, like, try to not kill everyone. Um, because it seemed like the plan was not to. Like, she could have easily just friggin' jumped on him, stabbed his neck, and it would have been still stealth mode from there on out.
They're also just not like they're. I feel like they're still innocent enough where they're like, if we don't have to murder someone, we don't really want to.
No, I don't get that. I don't get that feeling from Ellie.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to murder people in the end. Like, she puts up a front. I'm not convinced she would want to murder them unless she had to.
But I think in her mind right now, she thinks of the WLF as like they're pieces of shit.
Yes, for sure.
Like, so I don't
Like you
know if
said,
she's like, oh,
she
I'm just
wasn't
gonna
gonna kill
knock
that
them
guy.
out. Yeah,
If she would have sleeper
I
held
don't
him,
know.
she would have just like said goodnight and they probably would have left.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it because she got caught? Like she didn't have her knife out yet?
No, she
'Cause
jumped.
she
She
like
initiated.
no, because like she started stepping towards him. Maybe she had
Sleeper held him, and then his
didn't
buddy
have his
came
her
in.
knife.
And
He heard
yeah,
him. He heard her. She pushed like the gun out of his hands, and then she got him into the chokehold.
yeah,
Yeah,
but the chokehold was for a while, or is for seconds. Like, it was quite a
Yeah,
few
she's been
seconds, and
on it
then
for a while.
and you see the light come up the other side of the stairs, and then there's another person, and she's like, "I have him," and then the guy was like, "No, don't shoot, don't shoot,"
Yeah, and then
like,
Dina
'cause he was being
shoots
used as a
him, and
human
then
shield,
yeah.
and then that's when
yeah,
Dina caps him,
yeah.
and then that's when she pulled the knife and killed him. I'm like, I don't think so. I think the plan was to not kill.
Definitely
Yeah,
mixed signals for sure.
knife was not pulled out until she actually stabbed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I thought she very clearly just went pulled the knife and like
Yep, it was.
you could tell it wasn't on her. Well, at least that's the way I saw the situation. So I thought that was interesting that she wasn't immediately going to kill him. Everyone's cut down people. Oh yeah, okay. Um, Shoots her and they run out the window into the rain. Um, at that point, they fit through a tiny hole. Oh, that's right, tiny hole into the transit tunnel. So they run to the end. It's all rainy.
Oh yeah.
They get to this little hole that they can only fit through, very small. Obviously, two little girls are going to fit through that, but these grown men aren't. So they fit through there and they go down into the transit tunnel. And the guys know that, so they tell them to go down there. They're like, "Hey, they're in the transit
Scene was
tunnel."
so good.
So good. So now it goes down there. We see the girls. They're going down. They're hiding behind this like piece of rubble, and suddenly you hear these loud bangs and flares going off in down there. So these guys are just hucking flares, these red flares, of course, which light up perfectly, just like the game, and they light up this entire area. Of course, one of the flares lands on a tiny bit of fungus or near some fungus, and this fungus immediately we're shown as viewers, and it, like, okay, here we go, like
And
things are
that's
gonna
what
pop
alerts
off.
them, right? Like that's what
Yeah.
brings the other zombies to come help.
You would think these guys, after all these years, would be far more careful.
But they were
That-
expecting it to be cleared out, right?
They were.
Well, they said it, yeah, but like knowing that fungus
Things
grows,
changed, yeah.
and I don't know how often they check down there, but like, I don't know, just maybe like, hey, can we just use flashlights? Like, we don't need to throw. Maybe they should be more like careful about like throwing flares that are heat
Have to
sensitive
be
and stuff.
flares.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying. Because this is no longer like we're 1 year. If it's 2003
Yeah.
now, it's been 26 years of this.
Yeah.
Like, and you've been in Seattle for your probably most of your life. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it feels funny that they're still just so nonchalant about everything. Anyway, so they throw this out, and the fungus gets alerted. They send it back. And then what did I say here? Oh yeah. This sends a horde their direction, just a crazy horde, and of course they're shooting, but they're getting overrun because there's so many of them. The girls immediately they run into a train car. They're shooting and stuff as they're going because it's everything's popping off. They run through some cars and they end up going up on top of a car, running down the car and jumping down to the ground and getting up onto a fence and climbing over that fence. And then eventually they go up and they get stuck in this rusty old turnstile.
Okay, I just
Um,
gotta say something about the subway scene. That
sure.
subway scene was so cool when they got inside that metro, and like they
Mhm.
Yeah.
land with the bodies, scary skeletons,
Yep.
and then the cool part for me, obviously zombies start breaking through, but when they go through like the connector carts, like the rubbery part, and the zombies are
Oh,
just
yeah.
like squishing the rubber together. I thought that
Squishing
was a
it,
super
yeah.
cool scene. It was like a
That was
fun house
very neat.
that wasn't fun.
No. Man, that'd be scary just to shoot that stuff. I don't know. I think
Well,
that'd still be
especially
scary,
like
like, "Huh?"
the fear in them. Like Ellie is not like she's shooting people, but right before she gets pulled up, like she is shatting herself. Like
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
they're
they
freaking
both
They're
out.
have scary
freaking the
face
fuck out.
going.
Yeah.
And like I've said a couple times, I don't think I'd have to act very hard in this. Like
No,
this would
yeah.
be a scary scene to film.
This would be yes. I
Oh, would
100%
that be
agree, like,
scary? You just have 100 extras screaming at you, breaking through.
yeah,
That's scary.
it does. Like, at some point, you'd be like, "Oh my goodness," like, I don't know. Yeah, it's very cool. It was a
Mhm.
very good scene. I also was like, "How many bullets does she have in her handgun?" I felt like she just
Was
kept
she
shooting and shooting and
reloaded?
Yeah, I
shooting.
think that one is a
Yeah,
bit of a mess up in terms of
but who knows?
bullet
Like, some of
count.
those handguns have some decent clip sizes on them, and I wasn't counting. It just felt like a lot. I
Yeah.
wasn't actually counting, but it just felt like a lot, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, then they get out to get to this turnstile, and this turnstile is rusty, and eventually they get Ellie through. But Dina is stuck, and the horde is chasing up behind her, and one gets there, kind of has her pinned against the turnstile, and she's about
Mhm.
to bite Dina, and Ellie jams her hand through, and it bites her on the arm, which again, it was, even though as a audience, we know that she's not in, like, she's not infected or anything. You could see how painful that was because she was screaming. She's like,
Oh
ah,
yeah.
like it hurt. Um, again, we all know getting bit hurts, but like, I don't know. Sometimes we just don't think of them as like real. I guess I don't know. Like, I didn't feel like she screamed like that when the hunter one knocked her over and bit her. Like,
Right.
it just was a very like, oh my goodness, it's kind of like shoot the thing, and they did. They get through the turnstile. The rusty turnstile kind of stops the rest of them from chasing them.
Yeah, because they kind of
Um,
cram in either sides. They like pin each
yeah,
other, and they're kind of cool.
they
Like,
pin each other and they don't understand it. Turns only one way, and these are, of course, big steel bars, so these can actually hold them back. Um, but immediately, this is that scene we're talking about for previews from next time about how Dina. They get out, they get outside, and they run across the road, and lo and behold, we are at the infamous cinema. Um,
mhm.
which is pretty cool. We got there pretty quick, but I remember getting there pretty quick in the game too. But yeah, we're here. They get inside, and Dina pulls a gun on Ellie because again, we realize at this point um, that nobody knows that Ellie's immune,
Right.
even Dina.
And
So
sorry, the scene
yep,
that I don't think Poka actually said it on the podcasty part of it, but
mhm,
there was, I think, a prediction that was coming before where it was supposed to
yeah,
be the spore scene where Ellie has the mask on and then
yeah,
she ends up giving it to Dina and then she's breathing in the spores, but she's not getting hurt because she's immune. And that's
yeah,
how or Dina eventually points the gun on her and be like, "You're gonna turn." So they did
yeah,
it differently in this, but there was still the turnstile part that happens
yeah.
in the game, but it's just like a quick like button mashing scene, and there's no
Mhm.
her getting bit in it at all. But it's also a spore scene because Dina's rocking a mask on that one
Was Dina had a mask? Oh no, sorry. I mean, like
in
in
the
the
game.
she in the game. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I was gonna say because like I heard, like, again, the rumor is that there's supposed to be spores are making a comeback in this show, and I was like, we still haven't seen them.
see you
Like,
next time.
well, oh, is it? I
Yep.
haven't looked at that one yet. Oh, okay. In my head, I'm thinking like we haven't seen him yet. I don't know. I just I'm like, do we even need to bring him back? But we'll see what the scenes for the next time look like at the end of this. So, okay. So we are now in the cinema, and and Dina goes in and pulls a gun on Ellie because Ellie's gonna turn. She's been bit. She doesn't know her whole story. So basically, at this point, Ellie is telling her like, "Hey, like chill out." She's trying to calm her down. She's like, I'm immune. I'm immune. I'm like, she's like, I'm not gonna turn." I don't think she does a particularly good job of convincing her before she takes the nap.
It was
I would
I
be
was
like, here, look, here's a scar on my waist where I got bit
I was
a couple
just
months
thinking that.
ago.
I know it looks like I
And
just cut a circle here, but
Yeah, I
like I was
already
bit
know
here,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That was
yeah,
like,
I've
silly.
been bit here, and this burn was a bite originally, and that's
but
why
you
it
can
looks
see the
all
teeth
weird.
mark
But
still
like,
in here. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many
yeah,
ways she could have gone
I
about
would
it.
have showed I would have showed her some wounds
And
or
you'd also assume when
something.
they had like this nice romantic night, I'm assuming the shirt comes off at some point, and then she's like, "That looks like you got bit that little while
Yeah,
ago." Like, and then they could be like, "Yeah,
or
remember when we were traveling together?" And I don't
yeah, I would have. I just it's just funny how she didn't really try anything. She's like, "Nope, I'm gonna go take a nap. You can sit there and point a gun at
know.
me." It's like, "Oh,
Just this
okay." Like
most
this
like
is
this terribly stressful situation. I'm gonna go have
yeah,
a
and her
serious
idea is,
sleep.
"I'm gonna take a nap."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
it
sleep
felt a
right
bit
now.
weird. I'm like, "You should do a better job of convincing her," but I guess that's fine. So, again, she goes and has a nap, and it cuts back to her, right away, and, there's water droplets landing on her head. She
I
kinda
like
wakes
that
up all
scene.
quick and jerky, which is the worst way you wanna wake up
Yeah.
if you are, like, Dina watching her because you're like, "Oh, did she turn?" And she's, like, waking up to, like, start going crazy, and, she's like, "No, no, no," it's like, "It's just water, it's just water." And again, then she goes and shows Dina the wound, and you can kinda see it hasn't moved. There's nothing growing out of it. It hasn't expanded. In fact, it actually looks like it's the swelling's come down. It's starting to look healthier. Um, so at this point, Dina she's crying and she's kind of a mess. And this is where she breaks it to her that she's pregnant.
Which
Which
seemed like
again,
a crazy time, but I mean, I know
Yeah.
there's
well,
not
she's
really
like,
great times, but it just seemed like such a weird thing.
Yeah,
It's like,
well,
I'm
weird
not
timing
turning.
on
I'm pregnant.
that
it was a bit weird, but I think it was also like a hey, you told me something really personal. I'm gonna tell you something really personal.
one.
Um, and then she also kind of explains it a little bit later of like the emotions behind it, the reason why, like everything. But we'll kind of get into that here. So tells her she's pregnant, and then right away starts kissing her, and we start grappling on the ground. If you know what I'm saying, right here. Best friends just took it to the next level.
They're just
You know what
two
I'm
really
saying?
good friends.
Just two really good friends wrestling down
Yeah.
a little late night wrestling. Um, yeah, obviously the kind of the tension, the sexual tension, we'll call it, from this whole show, really, um, kind of comes out here in this moment. So, um, that happens. It shows them waking up in the morning together, and they kind of again have some jokes about morning breath, and they solve it by eating some morning beef jerky.
I love that.
What a great
So
breakfast.
I
gross.
love that.
So gross. Like, oh my, like, oh, morning breath, no problem. Here, have some beef jerky out of a can.
We'll
Oh, it
solve
looks more like
everything.
chew. Like it doesn't even look like beef jerky. It looks like chew. Like it looks like chewing tobacco.
I thought it was a
Um,
kiss.
yeah, I thought it was too, but I think she says jerky, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
jerky.
And then this is where they talk about the bites, and she kind of explains like, hey, like this burn was my original bite. This is where this was the original bite that I didn't turn from. Um, and then what else here? Oh, and then Ellie asks why now. They kind of get to the turn like, why now are you choosing to like be with me and sort of make that change? And Dina kind of starts off like, well, she thought she was gone, and she goes in this origin story of her parents and how she was never like, she doesn't ever say like she's maybe like gay, but she's like, I was kind of into guys, but like it never was right with Jesse. It feels right type thing. So just saying kind of again like she was kind of ignoring that side of her, and then now she's kind of embracing. Which again, going back to the beginning, being in Seattle, rainbow stuff on the wall, them having no clue about it. Just like with Isaac, how we see like the complete 180 of character joining the resistance and then becoming the thing he hated. This is kind of like again, like not understanding, having no history, but then still coming full circle, and now Dina's, you know, embracing that side of her. So um very interesting. But yeah, it's just kind of that sort of final moment where it's finally they've ripped the band-aid off this thing, and now they're kind of like openly talking about it. It's also funny too because she said she's pregnant. Ellie kind of has a moment here where she says like I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
I'm gonna
a
be a dad.
father, I'm be a dad, which is hilarious because it's like it's like this thing is like 10 minutes old, and it's like I'm gonna be a dad.
I saw some people so upset by that online. They're like, "That doesn't make any sense. It's not funny. It's just weird." I'm like, "What?"
These are kids. Like, and that's the thing too. You have to remember. And I think they did a good job of reminding us earlier on. But you have to remember, these are kids who haven't grown up in a typical world where they're getting bombasted with news and things telling them how to think. Like they're completely different individuals,
Yeah, just
right?
like a
So,
COVID kid that would just always be a COVID, would
oh,
just continue to be COVIDy
exactly, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, oh my
without
goodness,
any
like
outside world.
exactly, no education, no oh, like no, like maybe Jesse actually still wants to be the father in the situation, right? Like she's not thinking that way. She's thinking relationship and yeah, it's just it's a different world. I again, yeah, I could see how some people would be upset by that because they don't think things through. But
Yeah. People
Well, and
don't
also the
use their
thought
uh,
head.
that like they mention
yeah,
him, right? Like the thought of that we're going home after this and we're gonna carry out our normal lives.
yep, yep, exactly. Um, so we're talking about that, and then yeah, Ellie's gonna be a dad. Oh, and at this point, they hear some radio chatter and some explosions. And then we hear the word Nora come over the walkie-talkie, and then they head to the roof because they heard the word Lake Hill. So they go to the roof and they're seeing where all these explosions are. You see tons of explosions out in the
Mhm.
distance. Things are going down. Again, if you played the game, you probably know what this part is because there's a big extensive play part here, um, where there's an attack and things are going on. I think that's what's going on right now, in the game. Um, so it's pretty neat. Again, like you're seeing these two timelines that are portrayed in the game being kind of over giving you little tidbits here and there, which is kind of cool. Dina figures out which way Lake Hill is, and again, she takes out her map and being the Swiss Army knife of usefulness that she is, she kind of points it and figures out roughly where it is. It's a white building out in the distance, which I had to watch several times. I didn't know what white building because
She's like,
there
look
was
at
no
that white
obvious white
building.
building.
It's
Yeah,
just
and
like
you're like,
5. You're
It
like,
was
what?
there's
yeah,
like,
it was
yeah,
far.
like which one? But yeah,
You're
it's
in
a little
better
ways.
callouts, Dina. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And then at this point, now you can kind of see Ellie right away has a change of heart. She's like, pregnant. We're kind of a thing now. You should stay here. Don't come with me. Which again is hilarious. That just like is just flipped on a dime. Like now she's trying to almost be the Joel, and it's
Mhm.
like no, you stay here. And Dina's like, yeah, no, I am not gonna stay here. I'm coming with you. We're in this together. That they're gonna go together, which I think is different than the game, if I recall. I remember Dina stays back because she's having such bad morning sickness and was not feeling good. I can't remember if that's this part where she stays back. I think it is. I think she stays back already,
I don't
but
remember.
I'd have to
I do
double
remember
check that
there's
in the
definitely
game.
parts where you leave her in the cinema and she does
Yeah.
her own thing while you go off and do your own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So anyway, then that's where the episode ends. Dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun
nice
dun
record
dun.
for one. That was quick.
Yeah, we
Why'd you
crushed it.
go
We
into Law
crushed
and Order there?
it. Yeah, I went to Law and Order. Sometimes you got to. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy episode. Uh, Again, we got through it pretty quick, but like stuff is happening.
Oh yeah.
Like we are cruising through this. We're not getting bogged down in the stuff in between stuff. You know what I mean? Like the show pieces in between aren't they're not lingering here. Like the closest thing we had to was Weston's shop, and like otherwise we're moving. We're getting
Trying to
from
think
action set.
how many people you killed in day 1 Seattle in the game, and they've only
Yeah,
killed 2 people since they've been there.
yeah, exactly. Like you
Like,
go through several areas, you're massacring stuff, you're finding clickers, like
Which
you're
was good. I'm glad they're not ramboing through this thing because it's
yeah,
like,
that's true. Yeah, they're
it's true,
being
yeah. Well, again, because you look at how quickly like these people like they're not stupid. They have walkie talkies, they have everything. You're gonna get like you're gonna have to use some stealth.
yeah.
It can't be
And
like
I
a video
mean, you
game.
see how equipped they are in in the end of the episode. Like they're literally bombing buildings and stuff.
yeah.
And then it kind
Mm,
of, I don't know. That's where it looks like Ellie. I'm sure she's thinking about Dina and the baby,
yeah,
but it looks like she's like,
Maybe.
holy smokes, like what are we about to get into here? Like this seems,
yeah,
Almost impossible to find
yeah.
one person in that.
And this is where
yeah,
I've come to the realization as we've been talking about it, where at what point is it just not worth it? Like she's not bringing up, she didn't bring up Joel really once in this episode in a bad way. Like not like I need to murder this chick right now. Like I just feel like after you see an entire army fighting other people and even how Isaac is obviously treating this Sarah fight. Like, there's so much bigger stuff going on than your little revenge to her. Now that Dina's got this child, like, for me, it should be enough of a click to be like, I think I'm just gonna go back, and I'm gonna live an actual life and
Yeah, start living
honor
maybe a
Joel
normal
by
life.
staying alive.
Yeah. You definitely like, and that could be, and you think that could be a thought. Like it should be a thought.
And maybe
Um,
she just has a Rambo-y attitude where I'm not thinking about anything, but you can't always think that way. She's got to have some sort of thought.
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, that's why Dina's there, right? And that's why we love the character Dina so much, because she seems to be that person. It balances out Ellie a little bit.
Yes. Never
But you're right. I mean, like, and again, that's part two in a nutshell, right? It's this whole thing is going to be about vengeance, and it's going to be about all these sort of tropes that they like to play with and stuff. And yeah, like it is interesting. This should be, yeah, you're right. This should be the first point where you've seen the bombs going off. You've seen, okay, these people are organized. They have ARs. They have armor. They have all this stuff. Um, maybe this is more than we should. We can actually complete. Maybe we should not be going that way. But it doesn't seem to be part of it. They're going to push forward.
Yeah.
So pretty good episode again. Like I am actually, this is completely opposite of what I thought. But also I keep thinking, well, we're on pace to hit a certain mark where I think things are still going to end up, where I've always thought organically things should end up. Um, and I think it will happen. Again, without spoiling anything, I don't want to say that, but like, I think there's a nice organic spot where to end this. And I think we're on the perfect track to hit that. I didn't think we were going to, but now, especially with Jackson being Jackson and us like seeing more of that, I didn't think we were going to get there. And I think we are now. So
We just
I'm very
link
encouraged
pictures
by
of
that.
Dina now in the in the chat.
Oh my goodness.
No, because I was gonna bring a point of it, and I know the viewers can't see yet because
Oh my gosh.
Because Perm is an amateur streamer, but
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I
Get
posted
out
a
of your
picture
system.
of Dina looking at Ellie with insane amounts of love in the "Take on Me" thing, and it's like, how, like, it's. I mean, overall, or eventually, it's just gonna be a choice between who does she love more, between Joel and Dina, because that kind of, I feel like it kind of determines whether you go forward or step back. But
Yeah.
this girl's obsessed with you. She loves you. She's
Yep.
super nice, and she's got a baby. It's just such a
I'm
selfish
seeing no
thought.
cons here. There's no
Yeah, I'm
downside.
seeing,
There isn't any.
but right, this is the and exactly this is the stuff that Joel was trying to, I think trying maybe to transition and teach her. And she didn't really want that side of things, right? She was still going back to the end of the season. She's still very much like, hey, we got to go out and kill and protect and do all these sort of things. I think he was of the mindset now, like, we're gonna have to like teach you how to like be a part of a society and teach you how to live in a community. And because you saw that with him, right? He was no longer he was a well-respected person in town. He made decisions. He was almost like a leader. He was a leader. And I think that was part of like he couldn't connect with her, and I think he would have wanted to teach her that and kind of protect her from that and teach her sort of the next aspect of life, and I don't think it ever happened.
Mm.
So I can see how she still at this point doesn't know how to make that decision. Doesn't know like, hey, I have a really good life brewing here. I got the start of something really great, and I'm not going to take it. I'm going to keep pushing forward because that's what I know. Right? That's what I was taught. I think that's part of why she makes these decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a very good episode again. Okay. Anything else you guys wanna mention?
Let's knock out the numbers.
All right. Dun 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 dun. Okay. Well, all right. Let's get to it. Reminder: last time, episode 3, we had Poka at 6.5, Permadirt at 8, Ostrich at 8 for episode 3. Is there anyone who wants to volunteer to start here? Because again, I haven't really thought about it.
I think it's my
I
turn.
also. Yeah, I think.
I don't know.
I started
think-
off with the numbers in the first episode, so
Okay.
should be me here. What are my increments? And well, Poke at 9.8. I can do really whatever.
Yeah, and that was a huge controversy. I'm just gonna
There's
say.
still a There's still a question mark behind it. I don't know if the union will acknowledge that number.
Okay, I liked this episode more than the other one, for sure. I felt
Uh-huh.
like the pacing in this one is really good. I
Yep.
feel like we got a lot served to us. Like, we pretty much learned Isaac's entire backstory without doing a stupid one-off episode about him.
Yep.
We learned kind of the big battle between them and the Seraphites. A lot happened. I felt like the pacing was really, really good. Um, I would, I think it's worth more than an 8.5, so I'm going to give it an 8.75. I don't think it's a 9.
2 decimal
That's
points. Are
even
you
worse
kidding
than a
me?
9.8. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
0.25 increment. That's totally
Okay, yeah, sure. Sure, why not?
so 8.75 is
I've
my
lost
thing.
control of this. I've lost complete control of this podcast. It's bad. No, it's all good. So, okay.
I just think
So
it was
what was it? 8 points,
8.75.
8.75? Okay.
I think it was a really solid episode. The things
Yep.
from the video game delivered really well. Like the guitar scene was awesome. Dina did it better than Dina in the video game did, just because she can emote so much more in real life than you can in a video game. That's however old that video game is now.
5 years.
That's it.
Almost.
Oh, even still.
Game's still beautiful. Go play it.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
Yep. That's my thing.
Nice. Okay. I'll go next. I think it's the way it was supposed to go anyway. I enjoyed it too. Basically right along the same lines as Ostrichwrangler here. I do struggle as much as I like it. I do struggle to differentiate it between like episode 1 and 3, and because there's things I liked in all of those episodes. I do think again this moved fast. I like that we got a little bit of Isaac that we didn't get to see in the game. We didn't get to see the whole how Isaac became who Isaac is. We just kind of get introduced to him as a character in the game. So that was kind of cool.
He doesn't care about
Again,
your opinion.
he doesn't care about my opinion. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Just leaves. Probably gonna go have some golden water of his golden goose. I don't know what that means. Anyway,
It's so bad.
that sounds so bad. You're right. Yeah, it doesn't sound right. Yeah, like I feel like it's like 1 and 3. Did it move better? Yes. We got a huge action scene here. We got a huge character thing here. We got major character movements. So more story beats were hit. Yeah, I'm still thoroughly enjoying this. Like I
Right.
just don't feel disappointed. And I don't know if I'm getting numb of like these good episodes. Like, you know what I mean? When you see the same, like you see, it's like, man, here's another really good episode. Not great, but a really good episode. And again, I feel very much along the lines of like 1 and 3 for me. But I do think, yeah, man, it's so hard for me to tell a difference here. I want to go 8.5 as what I'm feeling is kind of where my gut instinct told me to go on this one.
Trust your feelings.
Because I don't want to see a third 8.0 out there. Because to me is almost insulting to myself.
You're not putting a lot of thought into it, man. If you're just
Yeah, exactly. It makes me feel like I'm not putting enough thought, but it really is like they're all really like 8 for me is a good episode. Like 9's a great episode. Like 10's perfect. I just I think it's better than good. I think I think I'm gonna go 8.5. Screw it. I'm just gonna put 8.5 on that thing. I feel like that's where I will live.
Were you
I'm
bouncing
happy
between
with
that
it.
and an
I'm
8?
like, what was that?
Were you bouncing between that one and an 8?
Yeah,
Okay. I think
that's
8.5
where my
is a good choice.
8.5 feels like a right place for me because I don't know, it doesn't differentiate between 1 and 3 for me very much other than there's just more happening, which I'm cool with. I love that. So I'll give it a little more.
And I think this one was quite a bit better than 1.
Yeah, I guess yeah. It all depends, I think, how you enjoy your show. Like I don't mind the world building stuff. I never have. Like I've never hated it.
You just always come to expect it, and it's not what I want to see after waiting a year and a bit for a show to come back.
That's true, right? Yeah, I get it.
Sorry, Poka.
All right. Yep, Poka, your
What?
turn. Dazzle the people after coming off a 6.5 and having to watch this episode in 2 different sections. Let's see how it came back to this
I did
one.
it for this one too.
Oh no.
I could just be having a very shitty couple weeks as well, but
Which is funny. That's exactly what you said last time too.
yeah, I know. I'm struggling here. I'm conflicted because I want to say 7, but it's definitely better than episode 1. Um, so I'm guessing 7.5.
What's
But
Okay.
making it?
I enjoyed parts of it, but I don't know. I just find myself I'm getting bored a little bit. But
Okay.
that like I can watch it and I can be like, this is great TV, and
Yeah.
like I can appreciate all the things and everything. Um, I just don't know. I'm not feeling that connected to it at this moment, which
Okay.
uh because yeah, like episode 2, I think it was episode 2, maybe a lot in the first season. I was like sitting there and I was like thinking like, shit, what the fuck would I do in this situation? Like I'm like putting myself in their shoes and I'm like, shit, like fucking the Bill episode. I was sorry, lost me there. Uh,
Yeah.
the Bill episode, I was like, I don't know if I could do that. Like
Yeah.
so, and that just gutted me. So then I'm like, but yeah, so it's good. Again, I think maybe the scale is skewed high, especially for this show. Um,
Yeah.
because like a 5 feels like super low, like it's like be the worst thing you ever watched. But really, a 5 would be middle of the road, average TV.
Yeah. I think, I mean,
But
yeah, I guess it all depends how you're working on on your thing there. But
yeah,
now go with your gut instinct. What do you think it is?
uh,
7.5 you're sitting on?
yeah, let's do 7.5 because I can recognize it's good TV and it's better than episode 1, definitely.
Yeah. So what would you say? Because I do want to kind of explore this as well. What what is hurting your experience? Would you say that's holding it back? Because
Mm,
this is a few now. You have 1, 3, and 4. Not saying that they're bad ratings or anything, but they're lower obviously than Ostrich and myself.
Right.
Um. So how are you saying you have a hard time connecting?
I don't know. I just find myself like I'll watch it and then I'll just
Yep.
be like, there's like things I'd rather be doing at this moment.
Oh, okay.
And or
So it's just not engaging you.
I just get tired. Yeah, I'm just not able to stick in it, and that very realistically could be my ADHD. Uh, usually watching it once that medication's wearing off in the evening.
Yeah.
But
Tough to lock in then.
like the first 2 episodes, I was locked in,
Yeah.
and again, I'm on coming off of 6 weeks of being away from my wife during the
Yeah.
weekdays, so it's
It's a long time.
it's a long time. So so it could just
Yep.
be that like I'm just getting tired
Getting
of
tired for sure.
yeah. So we'll see if that changes next week. Um,
Yeah. Well, I'll be curious to see because I haven't seen the episode. I haven't seen the preview yet, which I know we normally do. If you end up watching, you want to see our thoughts on it. We normally watch it after we're done here, but I kind of want to see it because I stuck away from it on purpose this time. I didn't watch it ahead of time, um, but I'm very curious to see where if what happens or if they show what kind of coming next. So, perfect. So then we have was it 8.75? I had an 8.5 and then a 7.5. This is good. Now I'm not the high number. Well, that's not true. Poco was the high number. This is good.
yeah, when
I
it was a
yeah,
big controversy.
I
Yeah.
feel like as I'm watching this, like I don't know, like I harnessed my inner Permadirt on this one because I feel like, especially in the first season, you felt like a lot of them were like really really good episodes, and then I was struggling more with it.
Yeah.
As I watched this, I was just like so psyched about the episode, and I was like,
Yeah.
and without having remembering too much about season one, I felt better about this season than I did season one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I just remember going through season one and like I felt like I always had a lot of stuff to nitpick. And there was always
Yes.
Mhm.
something where I was like, well, this is kind of dumb. I didn't like this. And it made me not hate the show, obviously, but it made me feel more pessimistic about it. Whereas
Okay.
this season, aside from, I mean, one, which was kind of just the whatever one, like three was better than I thought it would be coming off of the intenseness of two. And then this
Yeah.
one I just really liked as well. So I've got good things to say about this season.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the pace. Like for myself personally, I love the pace. I think even if I didn't know the game and I didn't know what was coming up and I didn't know what pieces were coming next and all these sort of things, I look back at what they accomplished in one episode and I'm like they're giving you so much. We're moving so quickly. Um And maybe some people don't like that either. Maybe they want more time with their characters. I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like it's moving at a pretty solid pace. Um, like I think I would be into it whether I played the game or not. Like I think this would be something I'd be like, yeah, I'm all in. This is a lot of fun. So I don't know. Like again, it is interesting to kind of say like, oh, where people are maybe falling off and stuff because I have seen again for this one I looked up a few reviews here and there, and not always like the best place to get reviews, but a few reviews here and there, and some people are yeah, kind of along like poke. Some people are right there with you. Where, but I'm trying to gauge like why it's lower. Like, is it just not exciting? Is it just not like the characters you don't care about? Is Dina not hitting right for you? Is
How dare
like
they?
like what's
Yeah,
Joel's like
we will
and for a lot
we will not
yeah
accept any Dina
we will
slander in this
No,
podcast.
yeah I
not even as
agree
an
I agree
example.
well it's got to be something right because like it is moving pretty quick like in comparison to other post-apocalyptic anythings like it's like oh good we got this episode and different show where they build camp great right? We have to go get logs and stuff to build like it's like that's an episode. And it's like we're not getting that here. We're like, oh, they're fixing the wall. They don't even show it. They just did it. And we're moving on right away. And we're going 3 months later and we're in Seattle in like 10 minutes and now we're in like so things are moving quickly I'm in. Like of course I love it. I think I'd be in no matter what, but
Is it?
I
I
I,
mean,
I
for
like the pace.
people who don't know the story already,
Yeah.
like, do you think that they would be falling off because Abby is a bit like you sympathize with her because you know already kind of like you know what happened, like what Joel did to her, like in the
Mm,
game because you don't know, so you're right beside Ellie in the that just we're gonna go kill this bitch, and I
yeah.
don't care what it takes. We're gonna go and take on this entire army. Meanwhile, here it could be like, well, like why are you doing this? Like,
Yeah.
just go back with this girl that you've been pining over for who knows how long, and
Yeah.
just live your life, right? Like, it, I could see that being for again, like we already know, or some of us
Yeah.
know.
I
Kind of,
feel
I don't
you.
know which way to turn. Wait, he's below me. So
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
of us know what happens. Not that you don't know what
Yeah.
happens,
So
but like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
yeah. I got you. Yeah, it's all good. Um So, okay, yeah. Any final thoughts before we close this out? No major thoughts, nothing we missed. Is there anything kind of again, there's a bunch of I know there's Easter eggs all over this thing. I'd seen a bunch of stuff posted on socials again about, different posters and bands and Green Day and things like all over the place. Nice cool little Easter eggs. Nothing I think is really like major noteworthy as far as
No.
like
I
but there's
keep
the
looking at
hats and
references. Like I keep looking to find like the Jack and Daxter board game or something like that,
yeah.
or like a
But
Crash
but also
Bandicoot
without
game.
like spoiling anything from the future. Like there's certain attire that we know we're gonna see in certain places when there's a whole bunch of things that you can see and embrace, but it's hard to talk about at this point without spoiling anything. So
Mm.
uh obviously we'll stick away from that. But yeah, okay. There's nothing we'll get this updated for next week. Episode 5 coming on back next
Viewers
week.
on Stream Boo.
And banned.
And bam, yeah.
Oh, dang, it beat me to it.
Oh,
Yeah, I did.
I never knew how to get
Uh,
there.
if you end up finding this video, make sure you hit a like, share it with your friends, whatever you want to do. I don't, it'd be great. If you want to see more, make sure you leave a like button, leave a comment down below. But yeah, been fun as usual with the boys, and we'll catch you all back here again next week. Peace.
I know.